Well, Becky, I've been following you a long time. I'm half Irish, so had that connection with you. And I know you had an injury when you were 19 and you briefly quit competing for a while. Could you tell us
Not
a bit
briefly.
more about that to
Yeah,
the
I
people
quit
that
for
don't know?
7 years. 7 years I left the business and wasn't sure if I'd ever return, and felt like I was past my prime, and I was 19 at the time, and just felt I had to get a real job and get a real life. And so I left and I gave up on my dreams, and somehow wrestling found its way back to me, more so than me finding my way back to wrestling. I think it was something that always just was I felt such shame and such regret and such guilt. I felt such guilt that there was this thing that I loved and that gave me so much that I gave up on, and with that came the shame, and I wasn't sure of how I could ever go back. And then lo and behold, it was through a chance encounter that the opportunity arose, and once I got that opportunity, I knew I could never ever let this go again.
And I also believe Finn Balor had a major part in your decision in coming back and chasing your dreams of becoming a WWE superstar. How did he help?
Yeah, so I mean, Finn is the person who trained me in the first place, and somebody that I've always been friends with. And so when it was about 10 years ago now. Hell, this is crazy. We were sitting down at lunch, and I was telling him that, I love this thing, and I feel like I've got such unfinished business, and I want to go back, but I don't think I can. And he said to me, well, go back now, because I don't want to be sitting here with you in another 10 years, and you're going to have wished that you went back then, but it's too late. And so here we are 10 years later, and God, I've accomplished nearly everything that I've ever wanted to.
Well, I'm happy you stuck with it, because obviously you are amazing on our screens every week. And does it seem crazy that you almost gave everything up, considering how far you've come and what you've achieved?
Yeah, it's insane. And like I said, there was just so much guilt and so much shame for that. Kind of in a way, I suppose I felt a little bit like the prodigal son, the one that left and was able to come back and still reap the rewards. But I made sure that I worked hard enough to make up for those 7 years.
So do you have a message for anyone who is thinking of giving up their dreams? Because obviously you've been in that position and you could potentially inspire them.
Gosh, I think my message is probably comes from a freaking Batman movie, but the darkest the darkest part of night always comes before the dawn. I think sometimes it's not a matter of being more talented or genetically gifted. It's a matter of outlasting the competition. So if you can outlast and outwork everybody else, then one has to have hope that the rewards will come afterwards.
Well, thank you for sticking with it and allowing us to see you week in, week out doing your thing. You mentioned Batman. I want to talk about Vikings because it's one of my favorite TV shows. I so love it. And Edge was in it as well. He had a starring role. You did some work there. How did you enjoy being in Vikings for you personally?
Oh, I loved it. Actually, that's the reason that I got signed by WWE in a way, because I was recruited as a stunt woman, and I had absolutely no stunt training, but I had a lot of wrestling training and a lot of physical training in the background. And so when I went down to a wrestling school ran by my friend Joe, and I was like, well, look, if I can apply what I know from wrestling two stunts and use that confidence, nobody will be any the wiser. And Joe saw me and he said, well, have you ever gone for a WWE tryout? And I said, nah, man, I'm doing my stunt thing, whatever. And he was like, well, I think you should go for it because I think you'd get it. And as soon as he said that, just all the pieces of my life fell into place, you know. And so because of the Vikings, I am where I am today. If it wasn't for that call, I don't know that I'd be sitting here talking to you with this on my shoulder. I don't know what I'd be doing.
I love Vikings even more now I know that story. Do you think acting is something that Big Time BECKS could venture into the future? Is that something you'd be interested in, more acting roles?
That is what I've studied. That's what I did my degree in. And so that's what I love. And I love theater. And I still do my acting classes on the side whenever I have time. I have a great acting coach, and it's something that I love to do. It's something that I'm passionate about, is finding a character and sinking my teeth into it. And so I have many more years on in the ring. I think I'm really doing the best work of my career, certainly enjoying it more than I ever have before. And so yeah, whatever opportunities come up, there's a few in the pipeline, and I'm excited for when the time comes. But right now, I'm concentrated on changing the game, like I always do.